We're live and we're going. Um, Welcome to Nick's Entertainment Talk. Today's episode is just gonna be me introducing the show, what it's gonna be about, and I think if we got time or whatever, I'll talk about the last movie I saw, which was The Invisible Man. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna introduce you to this podcast. I call it Entertainment Talk because we're gonna be talking about TV shows, movies, and video games. Pretty much, what I'm entertained by, and what the majority of America is entertained by. Um, Monday we're gonna be talking about movies, so we're gonna be going over them as far as like actors, directors, producers, the music, pretty much everything. Kind of keep it broad. Wednesday we're gonna be going over TV shows. So like just the shows that I recommend that you guys watch. I'm gonna give away the plots on the movies and shows, but just because I really want to get into it. But I'll try and keep like the best parts. I'll try not to spoil the best parts for you guys. How about that? And then Friday, I'm gonna be talking about video games. Now, me, I lean towards the very heavy story driven video games, like I do play Black Ops and I'll play PUBG every now and then, but I like the heavy story driven games, so I'll be going over things like that. Like I think this week we're gonna talk about on Friday we're gonna talk about Death Stranding. So I just got done playing that video game. Amazing. The as we go on, I'm going to try to keep the podcast, 10, 15 minutes for the first week. We'll see how it goes, and as we progress with everything, I'll try to make them longer. I'll get some guests on here and everything to have discussions with, and we'll keep it longer. My whole thing about this is try to keep it raw as possible. So I'm not rehearsing anything, I just go off some notes that I make throughout the week and just try to keep it as raw as possible. That's my whole thing. I feel like when you're put on the spot, to talk about, a movie or anything like that, I feel like more the truth comes out rather than you trying to script something or rehearse something. I feel like, and from what I hear, like on the podcast and some YouTube channels, it's all pretty much scripted and rehearsed and everything. And it's like, I want your real input, what you think about it. I don't want you to, go off of what you think other people, how they'll judge you if you like a certain thing. You know what I mean? Uh, yeah, like I said, I will spoil the movie for you. So, like, if you haven't seen these movies or these shows, like I said, I'll try not to give away the best parts, but I'm not going to make any promises. Please, if you can, support me, follow me on social media. I need to make a Facebook and a Twitter. I'll probably do that right after. But I am on YouTube and I am on Instagram right now. You can find me on Nick's podcast. Yeah. Uh, the reason I wanted to make this podcast was because I'm a movie fanatic, and I didn't want to make a podcast just about movies because I feel like I'm into TV shows, big time, and video games as well. I spend a lot of my times doing that. So, um, but ever since I could remember, I loved movies. It's my dad's fault. I think the first movie I saw was Freddy. It was a Freddy Krueger movie, and I was probably about, from what I remember, I was probably about 4 or whatever. But I remember watching that at home, that freaking me out, giving me nightmares, probably not the best first movie to remember. But yeah, that, my dad always rented, sorry, got audio stuff there. My dad always rented movies from Blockbuster and everything. And there was this other video store. It was called Hollywood Video, where you can rent movies and everything. And he was always renting movies and always, searching through the cable channels. He was always like finding a movie to watch. And so, like, pretty much my whole family, we're all into movies. We love watching movies. Not so much my mom. My mom was more into like her TV shows. So like She was really into ER, and that was a very popular show. I think Grey's Anatomy took that over. That whole medical show, drama show. Um, but yeah, my mom was more into TV shows, and she was more into sports, watching basketball and everything. So my dad was really the one that was into movies. Nothing wrong with that though, because it's funny because usually, in an American household, you have the dad that'll watch sports, but it was my mom that was watching sports. My dad could care less for sports. He'd rather watch a movie or show or something like that. Um, the first movie that I saw in theaters was Toy Story 2. That was that was the first movie I remember watching in theaters, and my aunt took me. And man, I just remember being blown away. I've never seen anything like that before. It was I don't think I've ever seen Toy Story 1 before that. That came out like the year I was born in 1994 or something like that. And Toy Story 2 I think came out in 1998, and I remember being 4 years old watching that movie and my aunt taking me eating popcorn, and since then I loved going to the movies. And now, in these times, kind of sucks. But, because for the last couple months, the movie theaters have been closed down to the public. And, with the whole corona going on, whatever. But this weekend's exciting. Movie theaters are opening up again. And I think I'm going to go watch either The New Mutants or Tenet. I think Tenet comes out on Monday, so I'll probably end up seeing The New Mutants first and then going watching Tenet. Uh, Tenet comes out Monday because it's like an early screening thing, so that's gonna be pretty exciting to go and do. Um, yeah, the last movie that I saw in the movie theaters was actually The Invisible Man, starring Elizabeth Moss, and you know. I'll give you like a quick review on it. My review, from what I've seen, I went on Reddit and everything and looked at and IMDb and see how people like that movie, and a lot of people did not like it. A lot of people thought it was just so and so, and when I went to the movies and when I was watching it, the theater was packed. Right, this is before Corona hit hard. The movie theater was packed, and I remember the whole time, during the intense moments, nobody talked. You didn't hear popcorn bags ruffling or anything like that. Everybody was into it, since the beginning. It starts off like she's, in this beautiful house. It's right there, like on a mountaintop, right there, looking overlooking the ocean, and she's just being very quiet. Obviously, her husband is in the bed and he's asleep, so she's being like super quiet, getting her things together so she can escape. So right away, the idea that you get is that her husband's abusive, on some way, and she's trying to get away from him. And that whole scene to me was like super intense. I was like, oh crap, like don't make a sound. And then like there's this part where the dog comes out, starts barking, and then like the car alarm goes off, and you're just like, holy crap, get the F out of there. But anyways, my review, what I thought about it, I thought it was a very decent thriller movie. I mean, I'm a sucker for thrillers. I love them. I think those movies really tie you into them. Especially nowadays, that's what you need. You need a movie that will really tie you in, because let's be honest, our attention spans have decreased. Big time. So I'm a huge thriller fan. Like I love thriller movies. So this movie, I like the whole concept because they kind of made it they kind of did their own thing with it, like made it very believable, as far as like him not being visible like on his skin, like it was an actual suit that made the guy invisible. And I thought that was pretty cool. And it was very creative. The little action sequences that they had in there. Her being tossed around in the kitchen, and the way the camera moved, like she was all over the place pretty much, but the camera was like moving with her, but it was like still. So it wasn't all shaky, it wasn't all crazy. It was like very still camera, like almost like they had it programmed, to her movements. Like it was pretty cool. Um, I don't know. Elizabeth Moss, by the way, is freaking unbelievable in the movie. She doesn't need to say anything because you could just tell off her facial expressions and the way she moves and everything, like she's super paranoid and she's scared, she's terrified because of her, this abusive relationship that she was in. And supposedly in the movie, I don't know if you guys haven't seen it, tune out. But in the movie, her husband kills himself, commits suicide, supposedly, right? She doesn't believe it. But so she's like paranoid. She doesn't believe that he's dead throughout the movie, and these strange things keep happening. And like, there's this scene that freaked me out, that I really liked. I really appreciate it. I'm blown away how they did this. Was like, she woke up from her sleep, and like the blanket was off of her. Somebody had taken the blanket off of her, and she went to go grab the blanket from the floor. And when she was pulling it, it's like it felt like someone was standing on it. And then she looks down at the floor, and you can see like these where these two footprints should be. Like these it's cool, like somebody was standing on it, but you couldn't see anybody there, and that freaked me out. And all of a sudden, she's you see the footprints like walking closer and closer to her, and you're just like, oh shit. It's pretty crazy. You know what? All in all, it's a great movie. I thought it was great. A lot of people, I don't, for some reason, did not like it. They probably thought, it was all over the place or something like that. I don't know. I thought it was great. I think you guys should watch it. I strongly recommend it. For me personally, I give it like an 8 out of 10, and I think that's just because of Elizabeth Moss's performance in there, and everybody else was great in there as well, But yeah, so I think we could pretty much wrap it up there. Just wanted to give you guys a quick review of everything. Um, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead on Wednesday. We're gonna be talking about a TV show called The Boys. Season 1, season 2 is coming out, so we'll have to make sure that we talk about season 1 first, give you my review, and go over it real quick. So make sure you guys tune in on Wednesday. We'll go over it. And yeah, I'm excited. Thank you guys for tuning in.